Um, before I go into presentation, before I go into whatever presentation I have for you today, I think it's important for you to know who is talking to you and why we are doing this today. Okay. So as I said earlier, my name is Emmanuel, and I'll be taking you today on Excel versus Power BI. What tool should you use for data analytics? Okay. And I happen to be a lover of these two particular applications that I speak of today. I happen to be someone who loves these two applications, whether it's Excel, whether it's Power BI. I happen to admire both of them, and I have the reasons why I use them part time. So today, I would love to take you into what I do with these tools, how I use them, and what you can start doing with them as well. Okay. I know today we said we wanted to speak specifically to graduates. Of course, we can talk to working professionals as well, but today we wanted to speak directly to graduates, fresh graduate, NYSC members. So if you are a fresh graduate or an NYSC member on the call, could you please indicate by raising your hand? A fresh graduate or an NYSC member, could you just please indicate by raising your hand? I would like to personally recognize you. Okay, how many persons do we have here? Okay, Oyindamola, welcome. Jones, welcome. Okay, God bless you. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Victor. Welcome to Meet Up Where. Welcome to Meet Up Where. Okay, fantastic. It's nice seeing that we have some fresh graduates and NYSC core members in our midst here today. So my name is Emmanuel. I'm a data professional. I am also the founder of CAMANDA Academy. I love to use data to solve real life problems. That is what I love to do. In fact, my whole career has been around using data. You can drop your hands now, so your hand stops hurting you, your virtual hand stops hurting you. Thank you very much. I just wanted to recognize some of you in the house today. So I use data to solve real life problems. That's what I do as a professional, okay? And of course, I have background in different things, but that is not why I'm here today. I'm here to talk about data, okay? And I happen to hear, someone gave me this feedback recently, which is what I would love to share. I was told recently that I make data fun, so I'm here to make data and analytics fun for you, okay? And I happen to also love music and football. So a few things about me. I know today this has nothing to do with data, but I think it's important to know this, okay? I love my food, and I don't consider myself to be a foodie, but I love food, and I love to critique things about food and so on and so forth. So I kind of love food, okay? Though I'm not a foodie. That one we can make of it whatever it is you want to. I take great pictures as well. I also don't consider myself to be a photographer, but I happen to know how to do great videos and pictures, and I happen to have even directed a movie at some point or co-directed a movie at some point. And maybe in another life, I would have been a writer, because I kind of have an interest sometimes to put pen down some very, very interesting things. But right now, data and everything around data has taken most part of my life, and I have no regrets in that regard, honestly. So I'm happy to share this again with you today. Now, to also get a bit about me, some of the things I've done over the years, I've worked as a business intelligence specialist, a solutions architect, a data analyst, a data engineer. I've also led teams of data analysts as well. I also happen to train data analysts where necessary. Okay, so the reason I'm stating some of these things is so that you understand where I'm coming from, and so when I explain some of these things to you, also understand where I'm going to. Okay. Okay, I've already done this. Congratulations to all the members who just recently graduated, all NYSC members. Please, if you're an NYSC member in the house, please, at this point, please one more time indicate by raising your hand so that we can specially acknowledge you. If you recently passed out, maybe during the course of this week, or maybe as of January, please indicate we want to specially recognize you. And please, a round of applause for them as they indicate by raising their hands. Please, a round of applause for them. A round of applause for them from everyone here today. Please, a round of applause. I'm waiting for the round of applauses to start coming in. Okay? Virtual round of applause, please. Not what's it called? A virtual round of applause. Okay. So thank you very much, everyone, for doing this. You can do that. You can drop your hand now. Thank you. Now, At this point, I will stop sharing my video. I want to go straight into my slides so that I stop looking both ways. I would like to go straight into my slides. But first things first, I want the hands to be, let me lower everything myself first. How many persons here have used Excel? I'm intentionally jumping whether you have known, if you know about it or not. I'm going straight to you have used Excel for whatever it is you've done before. How many persons here have used Excel? 1, 2, okay. 3, okay. How many persons here have used Excel? Please indicate by raising your hand. Okay, interesting, interesting. Oh, Clinton, you dropped your hand. Are you not sure, or you just wanted to show us your hand and drop it back immediately? I just want to know. Okay, so about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons here indicated that they've used Excel. Okay, you can lower your hands. I want to go to the next one. How many persons here have heard of, in this case, not used, you've heard of Power BI? Whether you've used it or not is a different conversation, but you have heard of Power BI. How many persons here? Okay, 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 good. That means we're going to have a very interesting conversation here today. So we have about 7 persons who have indicated they've heard of Power BI. Now, from anybody who has heard of Power BI today, can just anybody who feels confident enough, there's no right or wrong answer here. Tell me what you know about Power BI. Let me stop sharing my video. Just tell me what you know. Anybody that feels like talking about it, just tell me what you've heard of about Power BI. Anybody from the people who raised their hand. Okay, Clinton, let's hear from you.
Okay. Hello everyone. Thank you.
Hi, Clinton.
Team lead. All I know about Power BI is that it's a tool. I don't know if tool is the right language, but I think it's, should I say, an application that is used to picture data. Okay, in case if someone is having an issue, like let's just say it's like something that we use in drawing a graph. Something that when you see, something that at the end of the day, when you see the display, it will be able to interpret to you the data by itself, even without
Okay.
you knowing the. I don't know if what I'm saying actually makes sense, but more
No,
like it's
fine,
something that
fine.
is used to create a
Again,
picture
don't
of an
criticize
event.
yourself. I want to hear from you what you understand about Power BI. That's all. We're not going into what's it called right now. So just to help me understand. But thank you very much,
Okay.
Clinton, for sharing what you know about Power BI today. Okay, thank you very much. Praise, your hand is up. Let's hear from you.
Can you hear me?
Praise, your hand is up. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me? All right.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Power BI is used for the last stage of the data analytics procedure, which is visualization. So they help to present your data to whoever, most times stakeholders, to be able to understand all you have analyzed. It helps them to understand it better than just looking through numbers. So visuals help people to understand things better, and Power BI helps with that. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Praise, for that. Favor, let's hear from you. So I can jump quickly into because I would like to start talking about what I have for today. Favor, your hand is up. Tell us what you know about Power BI today.
I think just a summary of it. Power BI is basically a reporting tool that reports pulls data from the database and helps report it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Favor, for that. Austin, let's hear from you then.
Okay, so what I know about Power BI is that it's used to transform data, transform data into a form that is more easy for presentation, to collect all the data together for better presentation, transform it, and for better presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I think everyone who has given an answer this morning apparently has given very good answers to what Power BI is, right? And Okay, I said I want to stop sharing. Stop. Let me go straight into my. Sorry, give me a sec. Let me stop this here. Please confirm you can still hear me. Okay, good. So everyone has answered so far, has spoken well as regards to what Power BI is about. It's like case of
they say the
sorry, these people are
sorry,
not blind
blind
people, but
people.
the case
The
of the
case of the
blind men who who visited an
to an
elephant, and
elephant,
everyone
and
was able
everyone
to
was
tell
able to
different
tell different
stories about
stories
what an
about what an
elephant
elephant
is. All
is.
right.
All right.
So
So
what
what
we've just done
we've just
right
done
now
right
is
now
just
is
taking time to
time
gather
to
from
gather from
different
different
persons
Your
persons
audio
Hello,
is very
Prof.
poor.
Hello,
what
hello.
it is they understand about Power
Power
BI.
BI.
And I'm happy that most of them.
Oh, sorry, my mic. Pardon me. Thank you very much, Praise, for that. I was speaking from two different mics, which shouldn't be the case. Thank you very much. So at the moment, you have what's called Power BI and what Excel. So I will start first from the Power BI, sorry, from Excel, and I'll start my today's conversation not from Excel. I'll start my today's conversation from these are the things we're going to cover today. What is data analytics? All right, that's the first thing we're going to cover today. Data analytics is the first thing we're going to cover today. Then why does data analytics matter? All right. I will go into understanding Excel, Power BI. What exactly are we supposed to consider when it comes to Excel, when it comes to Power BI? And we can then see what the differences are in terms of Excel and Power BI, when to use which. Okay. So without further ado, I'll go straight into my presentation, which is what is data analytics? Okay. Someone talked about Power BI being the last stage of the process of data analytics. And the reason why I said we all analytics is a process. Okay. We don't just talk about data analytics as one thing that is all. Data actually is a process of gathering your data, cleaning that data, transforming that data, and making insights out of it. If you're not getting insight out of your data, you haven't completed the data analytics process. Please take note of this again. What is data analytics? It is a process of gathering your data, right? Collating that data, transforming that data, and making sense of that data. If you haven't, if you're not making insight out of your data, you can as well say you're not completed the data analytics process. Okay? So the process of making sense of data points that you may have, right, in order to gain insight or gain actionable insight is what data analytics is about. So what I've spent the last 10 plus years of my career doing is helping businesses make sense of their data, which means, oh, in this particular business, they are not able to gather the data, or they don't have data, we'll start gathering the data first. Okay. In another business, it might not be a case of gathering data, it might be a case of we already have data, but we're not able to make sense of that particular data. So one of the things I get to support such a business with is making sense of such data. All right. Sometimes your data is gathered, but in some cases they are not clean. One will wonder, what does that mean? Don't worry, that's a different concept, but I'll just talk about it in a nutshell. Clean data means if your data is gathered and it is not in the format, or it is not in the way where it's supposed to be, that data can be considered not to be clean, or it is incomplete. Okay, so in some cases you have to clean up the data that is gathered. For instance, 500 as 500 and 5 letter O and letter O. Those two things are not the same thing when it comes to data analytics. Okay, 5 as in letter 5, sorry, FIVE, or the number 5. Those two things are not the same when it comes to data analytics. Emmanuel, why are you trying to make data analytics very complicated? No, it is not. But I'm just trying to explain to you that when we get into the field of data analytics, have to be done. Okay, very interesting things I must say. The only part of data analysis that sometimes can look hectic is usually the data gathering bit of it. But in this day and age, data gathering is now being taken off
human beings to be done. Systems now do data gathering for you. A good example is when you fill a form today, data is being gathered. When you scroll through your Instagram today, Instagram is not stopping you to ask you questions. Data is being gathered on you as a user of Instagram. When you go to Facebook today and you post something, data is being gathered about you. So in this day and age, manual data collection is not necessarily even a problem again, but it doesn't take that away from the role that data analytics has to play. Data analytics is actually a process of gathering the data, collecting that particular data, cleaning it, and generating insights out of the data that you have. I hope that is clear enough. So if at any point in time you have any questions for me, please do well to drop it in the chat box. I will glance into the chat box once in a while to see if I can pick up any of the questions in there. Now, why does data analytics matter? And every business that exists today has data. Okay? Every business, whether they are gathering it or not, is a different conversation. But every business that exists today, and please let me speak to the graduates in the house quickly. You may have just left school or finished NYSC and you're wondering, what are you going to do out there? Please let me introduce you to data analytics for a second as one of the things you are going to do out there. The field of data analytics is very, very broad. And when I say it's very broad in the sense that there are different things you can do in this. It's these different steps I showed you earlier in the field of data analytics. There's somebody that has to do something in each of those stages. This is beyond statistics in school. This is beyond learning math in school. This is beyond learning computer science in school. Regardless of the field you exist in today, you can also tend towards doing something in data analytics. Now, I was saying something earlier that every business that exists today has some data. Whether they're gathering it or not is a different conversation. When you get into such business today, or in a company today, the data that exists in there, whether you are the data analyst or not, there's a bit of data that is involved in the job you do today. Whether you are a secretary, whether you are what other roles? Don't let me demean it. I'm not trying to demean any roles. I'm not trying to say whether you are involved in gathering the data or not. There's something involved. Whether you're an accountant, whether you are in treasury, whether you are not, any field you find yourself in today, there's a bit of data that is involved in that. Being able to understand your data will separate you. It doesn't stop, even if you're a doctor. I'm not saying doctors become a data analyst. I'm not talking about that. Even as a doctor, there's some data involved in this field where you find yourself today. Understanding how that data works, interpreting that data, and using it to make sense of something will separate you in your field of work today. So let me talk about the businesses. Businesses that exist, large businesses, small businesses that exist today have data in their businesses. They need they need to generate insight out of their data. And usually they need somebody who understands how to do these things. Okay? So businesses rely on data analytics today, for decision making. A business wants to grow this year by 10%. All right? They need a bit of data in that so that they can make decisions. But Emmanuel, that doesn't concern me as a graduate. Please, it concerns you. Because in there today, before businesses can make such decisions, they need somebody who can help them make sense of that data. Okay? So data analytics skills today is a high demand. I can't overstate this. When I started out, it wasn't a thing that we were talking about. It was something at the time, but it wasn't in the stage where it is today. At the time, if you had a data analyst in your team, it was like, you had just one very fantastic guy and that's all. It doesn't really matter what the person does. The business will continue to run. But guess what? I have seen it since then till now, where data analytics starting out as, we don't need it, to becoming something that you must have in order to make informed decisions in your business. You want to grow your business today, you must have data, you must understand the data, you must do data analytics. So you as a graduate, as an NYSC core member, or even as a working professional today, understand how this works, right? You place yourself in a very, very interesting position whereby you become in high demand. In short, number 3 here, I should have changed number 3 here. Number 3 on this screen is that as in terms of data analytics, if you understand how data analytics works, you can work in any industry, in any business. I'm speaking to you here today. I have used data analytics as a bread seller. Please don't laugh at me, but it is the truth. As a bread seller running a storefront, I've used data analytics to help a business like that to grow. I've also used data analytics to help businesses like e-commerce businesses, edtech businesses, and the likes, transport businesses as well. So regardless of the industry, understanding data analytics, all right, means you can go into any industry today, understand their lingua franca in a short space of time, and you are already ingrained into their daily operations because you can help such businesses to start generating insights from their data. I don't know how many, I know I've mentioned data like only God knows how many times I've said that, maybe 1,001 times already within the last 15 minutes already, but I hope you understand where I'm going to. As a data analyst or somebody with a data skill, I don't want to even use the word data analyst yet. As somebody as a data professional, whether you're a data engineer, a data analyst, a data scientist, a machine learning, whatever it is, a machine learning engineer, regardless of what, as long as you have a skill that is data related, you can work in practically any industry. Let me put it this way: if you're a data analyst in the house today, all right, you can work in any industry. As long as that, remember I said earlier, that every business has data today. So as long as you know how to interpret data for businesses, you're already in hot demand. This is the truth, it's a fact. All right. Yes, I know artificial intelligence has become one of the hottest topics in town today. It doesn't take away what artificial intelligence can do or will continue to do. But as a data analyst or as a data professional, you are in high demand. Okay. As someone who is a data professional, you have the opportunity to influence business decisions. Whether you consider yourself a junior analyst, a senior analyst, or whatever it is, you have the opportunity to influence business decisions. You play a very crucial role in business development. So if you are starting out your career, you're looking for where you should find your footing, please consider data analytics. I'm not saying other fields don't exist, but consider data analytics because it gives you that soft landing into having a tech skill. If you're in the Japa club, you want to learn a tech skill today and find yourself outside of the country tomorrow, please learn data analytics as well. It puts you in such a very wonderful position. Okay? Of course, there's software engineering, there's other fantastic skills you can learn today. But learn data analytics, it gives you that edge over many things or many skills in the industry today. It doesn't mean those skills don't exist or don't have their, what's it called? It doesn't mean those skills or those industries don't require other skills and what's it called, talents. But if you already know data analytics, whether you are becoming a data analyst or not, it gives you an edge. If you want to then become a full-fledged analyst or a full-fledged data engineer, it also gives you a superior edge because you are in hot demand. There is still a very high demand for data analysts and data engineers and scientists till today. And that is not going away anytime soon. Okay? So I'm encouraging those who are just leaving school or finishing their NYSC recently, try to consider data analytics as a field. You will find it very, very lucrative for yourself. It has been very lucrative for me, and I'm not going to come here to start deceiving you. If I've not worked this part, I won't come here and start talking about something else. Okay? It is very interesting. It is going to challenge you. If you want to do something that is going to challenge you and it's always going to keep improving you, it's going to challenge you, it's going to help you improve as a person. It is a skill, it is a position whereby even if, again, I'm not in support of layoffs in businesses, but even when it comes to laying off people, hardly would you see someone going to say he wants to lay off his data analytics team. Hardly. In short, before they even get somebody on the data analytics team, they want the person to be top-notch, because it is a very crucial aspect of business. So if if a business is growing, if a business has grown, they need data analysts or data analytics professionals. If a business is still growing, they need data analytics professionals. If a business is just starting out, in fact, the founder of the business even needs to be a data analytics professional. So I'm encouraging you, consider this today, because it is what? A high-paying skill as well. It's a skill that you don't just do without, because it helps you whether you are running your business or you are trying to start your own career or you're switching careers. Hope I've explained this very well so far. I'll stop at this point and take questions from anybody before I proceed. From anybody, anyone who has a question at this point, please indicate by raising your hand or drop it in the chat box so I can address it. Any questions from anybody?
I think Mr. Victor had a question. Maybe you can
Any
ask
questions
now.
from anyone? Praise, your hand is up. Let me hear from you.
My question is, what are the strong points that one needs to have? Because
Sorry, Praise, say that again. I didn't get that.
Okay, I said I wanted to.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
My question is, what are the strong points one must have to become a data analyst? Because I don't know, can everybody fit into that role? Because sometimes some people are good with this naturally, some people are not good with this. It's like saying, okay, you want to be a doctor now. Some people can't stand the sight of blood and stuff like that. You understand? So, what are strong points one must have naturally to thrive properly as a data analyst?
Okay, very good question, Praise. And I will start by saying something else first. Regardless of what you might consider to be your strength or weakness today, you can always learn to improve on your weaknesses. So as improve in this case to become a strength. Okay. So, but as a data analyst myself, let me speak about myself. One of the things that I know helps me as a data analyst. Now, speaking as a data analyst, I also do engineering and the rest, but as a data analyst, is the fact that you need to be analytical. Okay, again, I'm throwing the same English in there. You need to be logical, you need to be analytical. If this means this, then this could mean this. Okay? Naturally, if you're already thinking like that, if you see things like that, you might find data analytics to be a very, very interesting or lucrative place for you if you already think logically and analytically. Okay? If you are someone who enjoys pushing yourself, because there's a lot to be done when it comes to learning a new skill, or what's it called? You can find data analytics or being a data analyst to be such a skill that pushes you to, because in this case, you don't have to be the doctor of a hospital to understand data about patients, right? So being a data analyst, it gives you that opportunity to grow, to learn about new industries. So if you want to push yourself as a person, you want to see yourself advance into different other fields. So today I can find myself in healthcare, tomorrow I find myself in retail. Then data that helps you, that gives you a very natural landing spot to become what? A data analyst. That's what I actually wanted to speak about, but I seem to have skipped my mind here. But okay, yes, if you're a lover of numbers, if numbers don't scare you, let's use the blood analogy here. If numbers don't scare you, when you see numbers, you're not scared of them. I'm not saying maths, because people say it's math. I know maths and numbers are usually linked to be the same. What is X and what is Y? I'm not talking about those abstract things. No, I'm not talking about abstract things. If numbers don't scare you, then considering anything in data analytics or being a data analyst would not scare you at all. Because guess what? You would see the actual value in numbers. When somebody says, I made 1 million naira, you know what I made 1 million naira actually means, not just 1 million naira on paper. I know prior to now, maybe in school, you may have seen, oh, X, again, I'm a mathematician. I study math in school. So if I'm calling out mathematicians, I'm not dissing them. I'm actually talking about myself as well. Doing dy, dx, and the rest in school. There's a place for all of that. Okay. But I also happen to love mathematics as well. Pardon me. Let me throw that in so I don't feel like I'm making a biased conversation. But if numbers don't scare you, data analytics gives you that opportunity to live actually daily and say, if I change A, if I change X, Y will happen. The actual X and Y happens when it comes to data analytics. If I move this is likely going to happen. If I move this is likely going to happen. If I don't move this is likely going to happen. Okay, so if numbers don't scare you, you'll find yourself in data analytics space, then you will actually thrive as well. I don't know if I was able to answer your question, Praise. I probably gave you a very lengthy answer to a very simple question. But did I answer your question, Praise?
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, fantastic. Okay. If you are a graduate, a recent graduate, or someone just finished NYSC, allow me to introduce something to you quickly, which is called the grad skill. I told you I lead the team at CAMANDA. The grad skill program. All right. The grad skill program is meant for graduates who just leaving school, don't have a tech skill. These are not for working professionals. Please let me be clear. This is not for working professionals. People who are already working and this is not for them. This is for people who just finished their NYSC or currently serving, right? And you don't have that skill, but you're interested in learning something with respect to data analytics. I'm encouraging you to join an upcoming class in April, right? Where you get to learn about data analytics. You learn Excel, Power BI extensively for about 2 months. And in a space of 2 months, thereabouts, you can start having practical knowledge of how these things work. Okay? Normally, this particular course will go for over 100K, all right? But what we are trying to do at CAMANDA is we want to give every graduate an opportunity to learn a skill that makes them employable. So with just 10,000 Naira, right, you can join this particular class. So later down this class, I would showcase to you. You can make, if you're interested, please drop your name and email, drop your name and phone number in the chat box, and someone will definitely reach out to you with details privately. Okay? So we want to give graduates, fresh graduates and NYSC core members the skills they need to thrive in today's job market. So if you are interested in being a part of this, please do well to drop your name and phone number in the chat box, and someone will definitely reach out to you with more details. Thank you very much. So I'll proceed with what I have here today. What is Excel? Okay, what is Excel? By the way, that is for graduates, fresh graduates and NYSC core members. Okay, naturally, that class will go for somewhere around 100K. Some places will take it for, at least I've seen a class that there a particular school that teaches this for part of data analytics for somewhere around 900K and the rest. So we're trying to give you the opportunity to learn these skills for fresh graduate and NYSC core members. Just wanted to reiterate that. Okay. Now, what is Excel? Which is why we are here today. What is Excel? Excel is a spreadsheet application. Emmanuel, what does that mean? I will explain. Excel, also known as Microsoft Excel, is a tool. Someone was asking if Power BI was a tool. We'll get to that shortly, but Excel is a tool that you can use today for gathering your data, for analyzing your data, for visualizing your data. Okay? Excel gives you a tabular format where you can start performing simple calculations. If time permits me today, I'll try to show you a bit of Excel. My goal is actually to show you a bit of Excel, but if you want to be a part of Excel and Power BI classes for graduates and NYSC core members, please do well to sign up for that program I just talked about not too long ago. But I'll try to showcase to you Excel if time permits me today before we round up today's conversation. Okay, so Excel allows you to capture your data. Please, or let me use the word organize, where you're organizing data, but you can also capture your data in Excel. Take note of that particular statement I made, capture your data. It gives a spreadsheet tool. And what is a spreadsheet tool? It's a tool that gives you rows and columns. Any tool that gives you an opportunity to capture information in rows and columns. A good example is broadsheet for NYSC members who went to teach. If you're asked to capture students result in a broadsheet. That broadsheet right there is a spreadsheet. Okay, if you visit a particular location, they ask you to sign in or write your name on a paper somewhere, and they rule lines here and there. Write your name here, write your age here, write the class here, write the date here, whatever it is. That right there is a spreadsheet. So we actually know what spreadsheet looks like today. Okay, but when it comes to the electronic version of spreadsheet, any tool that gives you the opportunity to capture your data in a role and in rows and columns is a spreadsheet tool, and Excel is one of such tools. There are quite a number of them out there. There's Excel, there's Google Sheets, there's Smart Sheets, there is Zoho, there is SharePoint, there is Dataverse, and so on and so forth. These are different spreadsheet tools that you can utilize today. But one of the very popular ones, I think I'll also put Google Sheets up there now. One of the very popular ones is Excel. If you are going to work, if you're as a graduate, if you're going to join a startup, most likely you will use Google Sheets in the startup. Startup in this case, a business as a tech business that is just, is it tech only? Startups are usually businesses that are just within their first few years of formation. Okay. Usually I notice startups prefer to use Google Sheets. But if you already know how to use Excel, using Google Sheets is not so much of a problem. Okay. So those are the tools that exist today as spreadsheet, and Excel is one of such. All right. Excel allows you to do some very, very fantastic things. I started out my career using Excel. I still use Excel till today. If I want a team member to share some information with me, I tell them, please put it on a Google Sheet for me and share with me. Don't just type it and send it to me that way. Make sure data is captured in an orderly manner. All right. Before now, data entry used to be a skill that businesses hire for, but in this day and age, data entry is no longer as such. It doesn't mean some fields don't require it. Some fields require, some businesses still require data entry people. All right. If you are lucky, blessed, privileged, whatever it is to get a data entry job, please take it seriously, because it actually launches you into the data analytics field. Okay. I'm not saying you that's the only job in data analytics, but that is one of many jobs you can do as someone who understands data analytics. Because businesses today, if they don't have their data, all right, they need something. They need somebody that can help them capture the data into a system. Then being able to know how to use Excel today separates you in such a space. All right. Then, Emmanuel, if all of this is Excel, then what does Power BI do? What is Power BI? Power BI is a tool as well. I agree. But Power BI is a business intelligence tool. Power BI is a business intelligence tool. Okay, long story short. All right, Power BI, also called Microsoft Power BI, is a business intelligence tool that helps you to connect your data source, transform your data, and generate insights. Someone talked about Power BI being the last step of the data analytics process. Remember when I talked about the data analytics process not too long ago? I talked about the data analytics process where in here, you have visualize and share your findings. This last step here is where Power BI comes into play. Okay? It doesn't mean that these other steps are not irrelevant. There are some places that Power BI helps you in some of these things, but here, this is where Power BI draws its strengths. Excel can do number 2 for you. You can start using Excel from number 2 here. But Power BI becomes very, very important at this step. With Excel, you can do this number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. But Power BI has more strength in number 5 than Excel today. So when it comes to connecting to multiple data sources beyond just Excel, all right, beyond just Excel, because today you could have data in Excel, but businesses, large businesses, won't have their data in Excel. Startups may have their data in Google Sheets. But large businesses or businesses that have a system already working for them, you won't see their data in Google Sheets. They'll probably have it on a database somewhere. Power BI is that tool that allows you to connect to the database, transform the data there, and then generate insights. So regardless of where your data sits, as long as there's an electronic version of that data, Power BI allows you to do that. I hope these 2 things are beginning to showcase to you where Power BI comes in and where Excel comes in. Okay, Excel, you can use it for gathering your data, organizing the data, keeping everything together. Excel can serve as a mini database for you that you use to keep data for yourself or for share with your friends or share with your colleagues and so on. Then Power BI on top of Excel helps you with visualizing that data. In Excel, you can visualize data today, but not as extensively as what you can do with Power BI. So Power BI's own focus is to focus on business intelligence. So if tomorrow you hear somebody say BI, right? BI here means business intelligence. In fact, when I started out my career, what I was known as then was a business intelligence specialist. Do you understand? So today, there is this, you barely hear people talk about business intelligence. That's because you hear people talk about data analytics because sometimes they're using data analytics even outside of a business. But if somebody who understands data analytics and is able to provide insight to a business, the person already starts tending towards business intelligence. But as a data analyst today, and I'm very proud to say it, right? I can go into any field today and I will try because all I need to understand is what does your data say? What does your business mean? Then I'm able to bring those two things together. Okay. Of course, there are other business intelligence. Power BI is not the only tool out there. There is Sisense, there is Tableau, many other. One that you will most likely hear outside of this conversation will be Tableau. Barely would you see other people talk about Looker, Click, Sisense, and the rest. There are quite a number of them. In here, I think I've used, okay, I've come close to Click. I've used Tableau, I've used Looker, I've used Power BI, and so many other tools. But again, as I said at the beginning of my conversation here today, Power BI, Excel happen to be tools that I love so much. When I say I use the word love, because they help, I know what to use them for, and I know where to deploy them. And when I deploy them, I know the kind of problems I help businesses or people to solve. So you can, if you want to start learning data analytics today or data visualization today, get Power BI, start doing it. Use Tableau or use Looker. These are tools that you can already start using, and most of them have free versions that you can start using today, including Power BI. Okay? Then Emmanuel, but you said these two guys are doing this. This one is doing visualization, this one is doing this one. Yes. Now let me showcase to you what I can consider to be the main differences, if you will, between Excel and Power BI. Okay? What would I consider to be the main difference between Excel and Power BI? One, Excel is a spreadsheet tool. Understand that first. No data, no peace. You don't go into Power BI to start capturing data today. Power BI is not meant for data capturing. Please, that's first thing. Whenever I teach Power BI, I try to state that first clearly. Because I know if you are coming from an Excel background or you already know how to use Excel, you might expect when I go into Power BI, I start capturing data. No. Power BI doesn't give you, Power BI is not there for data capturing. Let me borrow this one. You go for your hand if you want to use it for data capturing. Okay? Power BI's own job is to connect to your data and help you to generate insights from the data. Okay? But Excel is a tool that can help you with gathering your data. You can go into Excel today, start typing. As I said, I hope time permits me today. I will try to show you how to use Excel briefly. And of course, if you want to be a part of the class where we'll talk about Excel extensively for about 1 month and Power BI for about another month, please do well to sign up for the grad skill program, especially for the graduates in the house. All right. Of course, the professionals in the house, we have a different program for you guys, and it is specifically designed for professionals, for the working professionals. So those who are already working, who have a bit of understanding of how data works today, or who gather data today but don't know how to make sense of it. I'll showcase to you what the professionals programs look like. You can sign up for that one separately. But if you're a graduate in the house here today, please, this particular program is for you. You're not going to find this anywhere else. In fact, this price you see here is more like you're just a certificate fee. Okay, it's not like you are paying for the program. The program is our own way of saying we want graduates to have the skills that they need, especially when it comes to I am very, very passionate when it comes to data and data analytics. So if you see why we are doing this is because we want graduates to have a skill. For those who want to grow in this, especially, if you want to be a part of that journey, please do well to sign up for this program. We have the best hands. I will be a part of that particular program myself. I would love to showcase a bit of Excel. I will try to showcase Excel to you in more detail, Power BI to you in more detail. All right. So when you can at least land your first job. When you're going into interview as maybe a junior data analyst today, you're not going in there blindly. Okay. So we would like to give you what it is you need, the skill you require to at least land your first job in the tech industry as a data analyst or someone related to data, someone who has a data skill. That's what graduates and NYC core members. If you already have this and you want to recommend to somebody, please do well to recommend. Drop their name and their phone number in the chat box, and we'll do well to reach out to them as well. Now, I was talking about difference between Excel and Power BI. There are tools that you can't run away from as someone who is a data professional. Okay, you can't run away from these tools. So Excel gives you a spreadsheet functionality. Power BI gives you a business intelligence. Is as a tool for modeling your data and visualization of your data. Excel, of course, again, I'm very careful to say small data set in Excel, but if you have small data set to quickly visualize, just quickly do that in Excel, move on with your life. Okay, but when you start dealing with thousands of rows of data, millions of records of data, Power BI becomes your go-to. Excel, for instance, has a maximum number of rows of about 1 million or so. Even at that point, Excel starts lagging, starts giving you hiccups. Then Power BI tells you, don't worry, that is where Excel stops, is where my own strength starts from. You throw 1 million records to Power BI, the Power BI tells you, hit me with more. Okay, when it comes to analytics of that particular data set. So if you already have data sets for your business, or you currently are privileged to come close to some data sets, Power BI is that tool you should use for visualizing large amounts of data. So it helps you with crunching large amount of data into things that can make sense for business decisions. Okay, while Excel, you can use it for just capturing your small data. Say, oh, you want to gather attendance of people that currently attended to this class, for instance. We have 23 of how many persons in this particular call right now. We use Excel. You can simply use Excel or Google Sheet to capture that. Or people that are interested right now to sign up for the grad skill program, drop your names here. Somebody right now, my team members know me already. The information that is being gathered here right now has to be gathered using a spreadsheet. Someone will not just come and copy and forward the information to me. Do you understand what is going on here? So when it comes to gathering a few set of data and so on, you use Excel for that. When it comes to data handling, Excel is used for smaller data set or small to medium size data set. When it comes to visualization, Excel, my first dashboard was built using Excel. So there's nothing wrong with building Excel dashboards. I think there is one of our instructors in the house was talking about the dashboard he created using Excel. I don't know if we even have a class on that separately, but you can build dashboards using Excel. You can do your pivot tables and all of those things out of Excel. Okay, I just got a network disruption. Please confirm you can still hear me. Please confirm you can still hear me. Okay, thank you very much, Austin, for the confirmation. So when it comes to some basic chart visualizations and the rest, pivot tables and the rest, Excel can give you that. Yes, when you start talking about building interactive, thank you very much. When you start talking about building interactive dashboards, reports, and using advanced visualizations and KPIs, that's where Power BI draws its strength. Power BI tells you, I can handle all of these things. Okay, so with Power BI, you can build out interactive dashboards, reports with advanced visualizations that help businesses make sense of what their data. Okay, when it comes to automation, Excel, of course, is dependent on the data that you have. There's a bit of automation you can do within Excel. A bit of it, I have to say, sometimes you can do some things with using macros, or you can write some functions and formulas to achieve some things inside of Excel. All right, so Excel gives you some of that. But when it now comes to building out real-time live dashboards that
businesses can use for making informed decisions, all right, Power BI becomes your best bet. Or a BI tool like Power BI becomes what? Your best bet. Okay? When it comes to sharing, Excel says, this is my Excel file, forward it to somebody, and that is it. Or I've worked on this, I can use my Google Sheet and I'll share with the person. But with, okay, Google Sheet today allows you to do cloud-based sharing. Excel Online allows you to do cloud-based sharing, but of course, there's a little bit of licensing required when it comes to that. But when it comes to Power BI also allows you to what? Do a bit of cloud-based sharing. But this time around, your boss, the owner of the company, the CEO of the company, whoever it is that's in charge, may not even know where the database is. He may not even see the data for once, but he's always seeing results. Oh, today we made 10 million naira. Yesterday we made 5 million, and that means we made a 100% growth between yesterday and today. Finding that kind of insight is what business managers are looking for. And if you have such a skill today, you are in demand. Okay? So when it comes to real-time sharing and the rest, Power BI thrives at that as well. Okay? Now, I would love to stop at this point and do a bit of recap when it comes to Excel, Power BI, but I don't want to just keep talking, so it doesn't look like a monologue. All right? At this point, let me hear from everyone who is here. Has this been clear so far to you? Do you have any questions? Anything that has not been clear to you so far? Please indicate, raise your hand, and let's quickly trash that out before I proceed. From anybody? You may have a question, you have a clarification you want to get, you have an assumption you want to make. Or even if you just want to say, okay, Manuel, I'm following you so far, please indicate, raise your hand, and let's quickly discuss. Let's have a bit of interaction. Victor, your hand is up. Victor, your hand is up. Do you have something for us? Do you want to discuss something quickly?
To ask that when it comes to documentation, what is the app we use for documentation? Do we use Excel for documentation or Power BI too?
Okay, what kind of documentation? Can you please help me clarify? What kind of documentation do you speak of, please?
Like they said, for example, documentation of your stage in data cleaning, the stages you did in data cleaning, and all those documentation you use in the data cleaning, all those things.
Okay, so I'll speak about it this way. When it comes to documentation, I would always recommend using a document application like Microsoft Word, Google Docs. Okay, but there is something that Power BI does better than Excel. Okay, when you are doing your data transformation inside of Power BI keeps a record of each transformation that you have applied. Okay, now this might sound very, very, what's the word now? Abstract. Again, as I said, if the main class we will have Power BI for about 1 month is going to give you more details on that. Power BI helps you to document a bit, do some documentation for you in terms of the steps you carry out when it comes to your transformation of your data. Whereas Excel, if you delete a row in Excel just takes it as deleted. It doesn't keep a track of that for you. Okay, so when it comes to documenting a bit of that, Power BI does that better than Excel. Okay, so when you remove a column in Power BI will tell you, oh, I noticed that you removed a column. Oh, I take note of it. What is Power BI doing at that point? It is keeping note of those steps, because when it gets to a particular point, it can now help you with automating those steps when it calls for it. That's what Power BI does. It's not doing it because of documentation purposes. It's actually doing it for the sake of automating your reports. But when it comes to documentation of your steps, of what you've done in terms of your work, please, I would recommend using a document. I recommend using a document application like Google Docs, Microsoft Word. There are many of them today. Any note-taking application would help you fantastically well when it comes to documentation. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I hope I answered your question. Very good. Thank you very much, Victor. I saw someone else's hand up. Tamuno, I'm not able to get your first other name, but please, Tamuno, please, let's hear from you.
Yeah, it's Ben Tamuno.
Is
So
what? Okay, Ben. So okay.
yes, yes. So it's been clear so
Thank you very
far.
much, Ben.
I think most of the things you've said we won't be able to like truly understand until we like visualize and see the software is in full flow. And I can't wait to get started. Maybe
Oh,
um
fantastic.
classes. Well, my question is, you seem to favor Excel over Google Sheets. So I wanted to ask, what advantages does Excel have over Google Sheets?
Okay. I you can't trap me in that one. I refuse to accept that. I refuse to accept that, Ben. So, but again, thank you very much for bringing that. So I know that's the observation, right, for the sake of this particular conversation. I'm speaking largely to Excel because Excel seems to be the at least this is the father of spreadsheets we know of today. Of course, there was a Lotus 1, 2, 3 of years past, which I never used. All right, but I'm favoring Excel. If I'm going to use the word favoring, if I'm going to buy into your sentiment a bit, if I know Excel today, I'm able to use Google Sheets. There's nothing wrong with Google Sheets. I use Google Sheets with my team today. In fact, when I use Excel is when I'm working with company or client data. I barely even use Excel for my own internal usage today. I use more of Google Sheets. Okay, but it's not a case of this or that. It's a case of what works for me at that point in time. So I'm not favoring Excel over Google Sheet. My conversation today is actually against a spreadsheet tool like Excel versus Power BI. Okay, Benchtold. I hope that is clear. But when it comes to using Google Sheets or Excel, I use what is necessary at that point in time. If Google Sheet is going to help me, for instance, when it comes, instead of me to send a file to a colleague of mine, I would rather capture it on Google Sheet today and send them the link because it helps me with collaboration. But if I capture that in an Excel on my system today, I have to attach that as an email and start sending, which I won't do. Do you get? Or I may not do it unless that is called for. So it depends on what I need to do per time. Also, but there's a little advantage Excel has over Google Sheet, just a little at this point. Excel happens to be a desktop. It started out as a desktop application that has a lot of functions built into it, a whole lot of functions, statistical, analytical functions, and the rest. So Excel allows you to deal with a lot more data, right, than you do in Google Sheets. When you go to Google Sheets and you start capturing millions of, you even get to millions, Google Sheets start warning you, hey, you probably need to move the data to another Google Sheet because my job is to help you to capture some data online, not necessarily capture all data. Don't use me as a database per se. Okay, so Excel will not complain when I drop in 1 million rows of record, for instance. But Google Sheet will tell you, hey, I think you should consider using something else or break this data into multiple, what's it called? So that's kind of strengths, if you want to call it strengths, weaknesses where necessary. But I use what is necessary per time. I'll use Google Sheets when I have to collaborate with my colleagues today. I'll use Excel when I have to deal with maybe a large amount of data that maybe I exported from a different system somewhere today. Ben, so I don't know if I addressed the question or if
Yes,
I confused you further.
No.
All right, Victor, you have the seal of. Is it something you want to add, or do I just go to praise? Okay, praise. Let's hear from you. Oh, no problem. Praise, let's hear from you quickly before we proceed.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the whole Google Sheet and Excel. Listen, I think Excel is more like the industry standard. If I stand to be corrected, but it seems it's like when it comes to data analytics, Excel is like the industry standard. I'm not trying to push away
I get your
Google
point.
Sheet, but
yeah,
that's just what I wanted to add. So that's just it.
Thank you very
and
much.
Also,
Thank you very much, praise for that.
quite a while. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, praise for that. Thank you very much, praise for that.
Yeah.
I'll buy into that a bit because businesses that have staged, remember I said earlier, if it was startups will most likely use Google Sheets. All right, not because Excel doesn't work, but because Google Sheet naturally feels and flows naturally into how startups work today. Nobody's waiting for something to come from an ERP somewhere in order to make it available somewhere. They just naturally But when you talk about businesses that have already existed, have existing systems, when they want to do something that has to do with data, naturally you will see them tend towards using Excel. It's something I've noticed. All right, it's just something I've noticed over time. Okay, so people who just want to start out, again, someone said use the word industry standard. If you already know Excel, you can already use Google Sheets. That's one I would say confidently. All you just need to know is where does this exist in Google Sheets. That's all. You know how to make your board, you know how to create a table, all of those things. Once you just go into Google Sheets, you just need to know where they exist in Google Sheets and you are good to go. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that addition. Any question from anybody else before we proceed? I want to quickly show you guys a bit of Excel and Google Sheets before, sorry, Excel and Power BI before I run away from here today. Any questions, comments from anybody else before I proceed? Jonathan, yes, your hand is up. Praise me, drop your hand so that we can. Jonathan, please go ahead before I.
Okay, hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so should I say questions? So I just want to find out. I know during the course of the while you are talking earlier, you made mention of what's it called? You made mention of having a separate program for people working professional that are already using Excel but want to have an idea of how to probably create system on Power BI and all that. I just want to find out where the program is coming up.
Okay, so I will share a bit more details about that shortly. I think I'll probably just even do that as soon as I start speaking right now. So that program should be coming up in April as well. Right, that program should be coming up in April as well. I'll do well to share a bit about that before I go into the Excel and if I show you a bit about Excel. Okay, I'll do well to showcase that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so back to my very fantastic interaction. Please, if anybody has any questions, comments, or whatever it is, please do well to drop it in the chat box and I will take it up from there. Okay. Now, when to use Excel versus when to use Power BI, I think we've already discussed this. I've already kind of discussed this some way, somehow. Okay, but I will just go through it again because it's part of what I need to show you today. When to use Excel. So if you are going to take if you're not take anything away from this conversation, take this one away. When to use Excel and when to use Power BI. Okay, you use Excel if you need to capture data. You use Google Sheets. Let me speak to Ben Stowe for a second. You use Google Sheets when you need to capture data. Just put the data together in a very, very organized format. All right. But you use Power BI when you talk about visualization. When you want to speak largely to visualization, use Power BI. Okay. You have data, you want to see it come to life. All right. In the data analytics process, use Power BI. Okay. If you want to do quick calculations and the rest, small scale reporting, Power tables here and there, bits of charts here and there, you can use Excel. But if you have to handle large data sets and do a bit more extensive visualization and the rest, please use Power BI for that. If you are going to create, okay, fantastic. If there's any finance person in the house today, this is where my financial people will continue to win. If you are going to create a financial model, use your Excel or Google Sheets. Okay, use your Excel or Google Sheets. Don't go and start creating financial model inside of Power BI. Power BI is not meant for that. Even though you may get somewhere close to it, but Power BI is meant for visualization to a large extent. Okay? Bringing data to life is what Power BI does efficiently and effectively. Okay? So if you are creating a data model, what's a data model? Oh, when I increase this by 2,000, what does this translate to in this case? That's a financial model, for instance. Oh, if we increase our cost per product, right? If we increase our cost per product, how much revenue do we tend to get? And if we increase our selling price, how much revenue are we likely going to get? If our cost per goods sold is maintained at this particular amount, what is likely our profit margin? That's a financial model being built. You can do all of that beautiful analytics or modeling inside of Excel. In fact, Excel thrives at that. Excel gladly works with that. Okay? But when it comes to Power BI says, okay, do you have your data ready now? Your data available in tabular format. And let's go into analytics. Let's go into visualizing this data. Let's go into bringing this data to life. Okay. Just to answer a bit of what Stephen asked, not sorry, Jonathan. I think it's Jonathan. I say. Oh, yeah, Jonathan Stephen. Yeah, who asked not too long ago. All right. He asked what are the programs we have for professionals. I'll just quickly showcase that briefly. So we have some data analytics programs specifically designed for professionals. And this is a program that we have kind of perfected over time. There's the data analytics for professionals. There is Power BI for beginners. There is Excel for beginners. Please confirm you can still see that on my screen. So we have the data analytics for professionals. This one is for people who currently use data in their day-to-day operations today. All right. Now the class for NYC and what's it called? NYC and graduates will be, I'm going to tell you that one categorically because I know I facilitate some of these sessions. The class for data for your professionals is different from the class for your graduates. Okay. Because the reason is this: when you speak to professionals who are already working, they already have data today. They are trying to make sense of some of the data they have in their business today. What we try to do in such kind of class is we try to help them make sense of the data that they have in their business today. When we speak to graduates, or most of the time, you're not speaking to data analysts. So you don't have to be a data analyst to learn data analytics for professionals. Usually for people who already are in the data and they already have data, whether you are an accountant, you're a finance person, you are a HR director, you are in charge of a department, you are in charge of operations, regardless of your role today, as long as you have data in your business, okay, the data analytics professional for professionals class is for you, okay? Aside from that, we have a class now. That's what class in that class we discuss both Power BI and Excel, how they work together for analytics purposes for professionals. Whereas we have a different class which is for Power BI for beginners, which completely speaks to beginners alone. You don't know anything. You want to learn Power BI as a beginner, and so you can become professional at it. That's complete class of Power BI completely. That's what we discuss here. So even if you don't know anything about Power BI today, you can join this particular class and we'll take you through it. This is also designed for professionals. Excel for beginners is also another class designed for professionals who, oh, Oga, I'm already working today, and all these Excel people are talking about me. I do not know what it means. How do I get started? You can sign up for the Excel for beginners class. I will be more than happy and hold you through the process. Usually our classes are very, very practical. Classes are usually very, very practical, which in this case, we take you through what you need to know as a professional and guide you through everything you need to know as a professional, okay? Whereas if you are, just to reiterate this again, if you're a graduate in the house, either you graduated January or from your NYC program, or you just graduated this March, or you're a fresh graduate, or you just have, you're an NYC core member, anything that has to do with you being a fresh graduate, please, I'm begging you, before you go land at your first job or you're waiting in the job market for long and you don't have the skill to do so, I am encouraging you, take the grad skill, we don't even call it data analytics program, we call it our graduate skill program, in which case we are able to give you the skills you require to get ready for your first job, okay? Obviously, the best way to know and use data analytics is when you're on the job. I'm not going to lie about that to you. You can learn the skills, you can be ready for it, or if you or do all those beautiful projects that can be posted online. But when you do these projects where you're not using it, you're not solving real life problems, then you have not actually mastered or started using data analytics. You can know it, oh, I can do visualization. That is good. We are going to solve that for you. We're going to give you the skill you require in that regard. So those are the two programs we have for graduates and for professionals. So if you're interested in work specifically for graduates, please drop your name, email, and phone number in the chat box and mention that you want the professionals program, and we'll sign you up for that separately. Okay? Please, for my anchors behind the scenes, Jenny, Victor, and every other person supporting us behind the scenes, please do well for the numbers that have sent us details. Please messages and you want to drop them details of what they need to do next. Okay, let's drop them details of what they need to do next. Okay, I want to, before my time is up, I want to show at least Excel and Power BI to an extent, briefly, just at least to sweeten your taste buds a little. What are the opportunities you have in data analytics? Okay, as I said, being a data professional, there are so many things that I can do as a data professional. So these are just a few of them. There's a lot more to it, but these are just a few, usually the ones that are talked about the most. Okay, you have the role of a data analyst. I talked about data entry person earlier. That is also something. But you have the role of a data analyst. You have the role of a data engineer. You have the role of data scientist. You have the role of a business analyst. You have the role of a machine learning engineer. These are like the top. I can consider this to be like the top 5 in demand today. It doesn't mean the other skills are not necessary. Different businesses will need different things per time. Okay. And number one, anytime you ask me, I usually put data analytics at the top, because data analytics, all you usually take note of the Venn diagram on the right hand side here. By the way, I need to even get credit to the guys who did this Venn diagram. You need to have business domain knowledge, right? And a bit of mathematics or statistics. Okay. So even if you don't know mathematics or statistics today, you studied microbiology in school, you studied economics in school, whatever your field, the mathematics we're talking of here is not the mathematics of X and Y. It's the mathematics of practical things, where if you can count money today, you can actually do something in data analytics, because what we're going to be discussing even in data analytics, how does this particular thing impact this one? If I sell to 10 customers at 10 Naira, that is 100 Naira I've made, right? If I sell to 20 customers at the same 10 Naira, that becomes what, 200 Naira. Okay, it is not just that in data analytics, it's that and more. Okay, you can learn this thing, you don't have to be afraid of it. So what you need is a blend of the knowledge of the business where you're going into, and a bit of how do I add up, how do I sum up, how do I visualize some things, how can you tell story using data. These are things you can learn. It doesn't mean I must be a mathematician to learn how to tell story with data. You can be a mathematician and not know how to do that. In fact, it is a skill to learn how to tell story with data. The graph is not just about drawing any graph and putting out there. It's about telling a story. This graph means this, and it is actually tied to this. Okay? The same when it comes to data engineering as well. There's a bit of maths you might know of that, but it's just about, if you understand a bit of software already, but you want to do something in data, then data engineering might be your best bet, because it has something to do with engineering, and you obviously have to bring that skill and expertise into the domain where you find yourself. Okay? Well, as an ML engineer, you obviously will have a bit of software engineering and a bit of maths involved in that. But somebody that sits in between all of this, which is why, let me give you this trick. If you didn't attend this call today, you may not have noticed this. Let me give you this trick. When you see jobs out there, you see people are looking for data scientists, even in businesses where they don't have anything to do with machine learning. It's because businesses just say, if I have somebody that is a data scientist, he should be able to do all these 3 things as a data engineer, as an analyst, as an ML engineer. The truth is that these are 3 different core skills on their own. So you don't become a data scientist by just wishing it. You become a data scientist from experience over time. So if you see those jobs out there today saying they need data scientists, please try your best. What they actually need is just a data analyst. I'm not taking away anything from their business. What they need is just a data analyst, somebody that just knows how to bring data together. But they just have to make it, I need a data scientist. It is a trick that is used. I'm being honest with you. I don't use those tricks. For me, I define my roles the way I want them to be. But when you see data analysis roles, data scientist roles out there, usually they tend towards being data analysts, because data science requires a bit more than just analytics. It requires a bit of machine learning involved into it. Some of these businesses don't have no business to do with machine learning, or they don't have anything to do with machine learning today. But you see them tell you that they want somebody to come and sign up for the skill as a data scientist. And say, again, let me drag my country a bit, especially in Nigeria here. Okay? So, but there are some businesses that know that what they really want is actually a job of a data scientist. And when they're clearly defining it, when you see those opportunities, they will tell you, usually are for experienced people, because they want somebody that knows analytics, that knows engineering, that knows a bit of machine learning, and is able to bring all of these things together. So if you see those jobs out there, please give it a try. You might just get yourself into that position and then develop from there. Okay? Thank you very much. Let me now show you Excel. For the working professionals in the house, you don't have to be, in short, for everybody, you don't have to be a data analyst to use data analytics. You don't. Data analysis is a job, yes, I know. If you already work today and you already have some data, you can already start doing data analytics on top of your data. You don't have to carry the job title data analyst, because being a data analyst is actually deeper than just knowing Excel and Power BI. That's the truth. But it actually gives you a start into becoming a data analyst. For instance, if you want to know data, if you want to become a data analyst, you need to know how to use your spreadsheet tools, your visualization tools, as your business intelligence tools. You need to know your data languages. In this case, Python, SQL, and the likes. But again, today's conversation is not about that. We wanted to talk about when to use Excel, when to use Power BI, and also introduce you to the concept of what? Data analytics. So in 2 minutes or less, I'll just try to introduce a bit of, what's it called, to you. Let me show you my Excel screen briefly, and you can see what Excel looks like, because I think Bestuo sent something earlier about this, and I think I agree with him. This is what Excel would look like. So if you are here and you are still interested in learning data analytics, either for professionals or you want to join the graduate scale program, please do well to reach out. Drop your name, your email address, and phone number in the chat box, and someone will definitely reach out to you. Okay, so here, right, this is an Excel screen. Emmanuel, what am I looking at here? Sorry, this is how the tool looks like. Whether you see it as exciting or boring, this is how the tool looks like. This is where the magic happens. Okay? In here is what an Excel tool looks like. I told you earlier, it's made up of rows, row number 2, row number 3, row number 4, and columns, column D, column E, column F. Any tool that gives you something like this is what we call what? A spreadsheet application. Now, if I wanted to capture data in Excel, what do? I go to a cell. A cell is a box here where you can capture data, where a row and a column meets. And I will say name, and I'll hit enter. If you have not tried this before, if you're afraid of wondering what you're going to do with your Google Sheet on your phone or Excel on your system, this is what you can do. Name is as simple as I type name and hit enter, nothing is going to spoil. Underneath name, I'll type Emmanuel. Underneath name, I'll type praise. Underneath name, I'll type Jenny. Underneath name, I will type Jude. And so on and so forth. Okay? Now, what have I started doing? I've started capturing data inside a spreadsheet application. Normally, when you go to a place and they say sign in, they say write your name, write the time you signed in, write the time you signed out, and so on. That is the same thing you are doing here using your Excel tool. Okay? If I go in front of name and I capture another column, I call it, say, gender, for instance, and I say this is male, praise is male, Jenny is female, Jude is male. What have I just done? Okay, thank you very much for the reminder, Google. We're going to round up very shortly. So what have I just done? I've just captured data inside of an Excel file. This is the foundation of data analytics, if you will. Remember I said earlier, data analytics is a process of capturing this data. If your job is to capture the data, though, because some systems already exist today that capture this data, all you just need to do is bring them in and do your analytics. Okay? Now, when the data is captured, you clean up the data. In this case, I'm not going to clean anything. I'm just going to go straight into maybe showing you just one visual or two. All right? And then providing some answers to it in the end. Now, let me quickly show you a chart of what this can look like in Excel. This is Excel for you. I'm jumping from Excel for Beginners 101 to Excel, a bit of intermediate or advanced Excel in just a space of 2 minutes. Sorry, it's just because of what time permits me to do today. So insert, if I go to insert and I click on insert chart, let me insert a pie chart. I usually don't like, I told my people I don't like pie chart. I usually love donut chart. This guy has started. Excel has started his own. So I started his own madness. Sorry, give me a sec. Let me make this a table. So give me a sec. I'm just going to show you something quickly. Insert. Sorry, I'm not teaching this right now. I just want to show you something, guys, quickly. Why are you messing with me? Sorry, guys. These guys are really messing with me. I don't want it to do that again. Okay, so you know what's going to happen? I'm going to define what I really want. So this guy stops messing with me. So I'm just going to do a count. Don't worry, I'll just do a count first. Let me do a quick count, and I'll say gender, male. So this is why I said when Excel says allow you to do counting or formulas. Remember I talked about functions, formulas, and the rest in Excel. Excel allows you to do a bit of calculation. How many male do I have in my company or in my data? How many female do I have? I can do that count here. Let me quickly show you a formula. In here, I'll do equal to count, right? And I'll do a count if. Okay. What is a count if? There's a class. Sorry, we have a class on this particular function I'm showing you here right now. Check on our YouTube channel today for CAMANDA Academy. You will see a class. We actually did a class on this, a master class, so you can watch that for free and learn what I'm trying to showcase to you right now. So Victor, please share the link to CAMANDA Academy YouTube page so that they can watch other master classes like this that we've had in time past. Okay. I know our time is fast spent. Please confirm you can see my Excel screen. I want to proceed. Can you see my Excel? Okay, you can still see my Excel. Okay, good. So please, Victor, help us get I think it's youtube.com/CAMANDA Academy or so. Please confirm that and drop the link in the chat box for everyone else to go see our previous master classes. Okay, so in this case, count if, again, I'm not going to discuss this in detail because, again, this is not for this. Count if this is what? Male. Hit enter and close brackets. And I'll do the same count if in here, this is what? Female. What magic are you? It's not magic, my people. This is very simple. Please go and watch that video. You understand why I say it's very simple. It might be a little bit advanced if you don't know anything about Excel at all, which is why the classes are very important. So in here, let me now create a chart for you here. I create a chart using this right now. This is what this guy was waiting for me to do before. This is my donut chart that tells me how many persons, gender, distribution. What have I just done? I have captured data, I have analyzed the data, right? And I have created a visualization, all within an Excel in a space of a few minutes. Now, for the data we're going to work with as professionals or as people who work in organizations, will most likely be larger than this. Now, what then happens when we now say, oh, we have a new person called her Inagoro, right? And she's also what? Female. What do you notice? Immediately, it calculates immediately and changes it to what? Please take note of this count. When take note of this count. What do you see? As this is happening, my chart is also being updated. Let me show you the values on the chart. My chart is also being updated. Okay. Oh, we have 33% female and 67% male, all happening within a short. This is data analytics in a nutshell. Capture the data, analyze it. Of course, there's cleaning involved somewhere. Analyze it, and then showcase the data in a visualization, in a visualized format. So this is Excel. I would love to teach you this in a way that makes sense. If you're interested in being a part of those classes, please do well to indicate your interest, your name, your email address, and phone number, and we'll do well to reach out to you. Thank you very much for your time. This is what my time has permitted. This is already 12:35. This is what my time has currently permitted me to do. I also have an introduction to Power BI on our YouTube channel as well. Please do well to go there and pick that particular class. In fact, you can start learning data and you don't have to wait for me. Even if you don't want to attend classes, if you don't want to attend paid classes, no problem. Go to YouTube today, search for data analytics today, and you will find something about this. Okay? You will find something that you can already start learning. Okay? You will find something that you can already start learning. So you don't have to wait for Emmanuel's class. If you don't want to, Emmanuel, you're asking me to pay you money for something I can learn for free. It's not about got you. There's a reason Emmanuel is going to be in a class and what you're going to watch on YouTube by yourself. Okay? If you prefer to go to YouTube to watch it by yourself, please do, by all means do so. Important thing is, for my graduates in the house, I want you to have a skill that you can confidently go into any interview with and say, please, I want to interview as a data analyst, and they will listen to you. Okay, that is really what my own goal for today is about, or the reason for the class that we are currently putting together. We want you to get to the point whereby you can say, I am confident that I can take this particular job and I will deliver on it. Okay, so once again, we have these two programs. This is the one for professionals, data analytics for professionals, Power BI for beginners, Excel for beginners. This is for professionals, people who are already working, who have a job or something that they're already working, they have access to some data. This will do you a whole lot of good. Emmanuel and some other colleagues of ours will be, some of my instructors will also be in class. I think one of them is on the call. Muiwa, are you on the call today? One of my instructors is on this class, was in the call earlier. Okay, thank you very much. Muiwa, for example, is one of our instructors. Please, if you can watch his last video with us, you will see the kind of class it takes. So please do well to sign up for this as a professional. This will do you a whole lot of good. This one is actually a very extensive program for professionals. Okay, while for graduates, the core members in the house, there is this program that is specifically designed for you. And what we are trying to do with this program is very simple. We want to give graduates the skills that they require to get their first job. You don't know how to do data analytics today, or you don't even understand what Excel is and Power BI is today. And that if somebody wants to interview today, then what did they ask you? So get into this particular class. We are not going to price it for you at 100,000 naira. I'm going to give it to you at just 10,000 naira. If you're interested in joining the grad scale program, please indicate, drop your name, email address, and phone number in the chat box. We are going to train you on Excel, Power BI, at least for you as a graduate. You know what the skills you need to get that particular job you require in a space of 2 months. I'm not asking you to go and learn this for a whole 1 year period. Thank you very much. That's been my time, and I would end it at this point. Any questions, comments, feedback? Now is a good time to start sharing them before I hand over back to Victor. Any questions, comment, or feedback from me before I hand over to Victor? Questions, comment. Okay, sorry, I see your hand up, Bestoy.
Yeah, sorry. This might seem a little vain. I just wanted to ask. I think you said, or I might have misheard something about certificate. Like you said, the 10K is not for, it's not really to cover the class, but more like a certificate fee or something like that. I just want to confirm if I heard right.
So the way we see, yes, the way we see this is we try to use this for just our administrative, whatever it is, and for what's it called, certification and the rest. That's what we basically are doing here. Why we are putting out this program is we are discounting it this way because we want graduates to have the skill to get their first job. Do you understand? So we consider this to be like an admin fee, a certificate fee, a scholarship, whatever it is you want to call it. It's just so that we can give you that skill that you need at almost 0 naira. I don't know if that's clear enough, Professor.
Yes, thank you. So there's going to be a certificate at the end of the 2 months.
Of course, yes, there is going to be. To answer your question, yes. Okay. At this juncture, since there's no other person raising their hand, I'll hand it over to Victor at this point. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for listening. Victor, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Prof, for this, should I say, very, very insightful session. I think almost every year will be feeling like a bit of a pro already with maybe Excel or even at least with Power BI. Nobody's leaving the score the way they joined. So thank you once again, sir, for simplifying all of these tools and making it more understandable and easy to. At least we can now explain what Power BI does, even if we don't have the in-depth knowledge. We do know what Excel is all about. At least we can even differentiate between both of them. If anybody here can do that, then maybe you can still go back and then watch the recordings. So just to reiterate what Prof has said during the call, the grad school program is actually ongoing. The registration, I mean, is actually ongoing now. And we'll be starting the program in April. So you can just send in your name, your email, and your phone number. Or if you decide to make payments immediately, you can just use the account number there. But if you're not interested in that yet, maybe you want to speak to one of us, you can just drop in your name, your email, and your phone number, and then we'll reach out to you immediately. So thank you very much once again, Prof. I think this has really been an insightful session. And as you said, I've sent in within the group. You can just go through the group. There are some links there. You can follow us on social media. Follow us on Instagram, on Facebook as well, and you can also follow us on YouTube. So when you go to our YouTube, you see a lot of resources that we do have. Some of our past lectures is still available there. So you can just do that and then start, as Prof said, you can start developing. You can just start your data analytics journey immediately. So thank you once again, Prof. I think, and with that, we'll call it a wrap. Thank you once again for this incredible audience. Thank you. Enjoying everybody, and have a wonderful weekend celebration.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.